Hello, everybody. How we doing? Chat's already booming. I love it. Stash, Willio, Langlandia. Let me turn the music down some. Drifting Bunnies, Alhex. I haven't talked to you, Alhex, in forever. Frisco Melt, Brez, Pluto, Grind, my homie. I think I said Langlandia. G-O-M, Hugh A. Hue or Hugh A. Miss Olivia. Hello, hello. How are we doing? How we doing? That quality, yeah, it's, well, you know, I'm always through Discord. So, Kazsan, welcome. Speaker acting weird. My speaker, oh, your speaker, okay. Waiting for Botanical tomorrow. Olivia in chat. Olivia is in chat. So, anyway, sorry, I had to double check this really quick. So I'm building a board for Olivia today. Hola. It's the Wolfmark W.M.1. I'll show it off here in just a moment. So I tried to get my hands on GMK Olivia for this, but didn't work out, didn't plan ahead of time. My apologies. But we got a cool new set. Sort of new. Part of it's new. So, but yeah, welcome. And Zycos, cool, like, strange turquoise Telio, super light spring Zycos. So we're gonna see how those work out as well. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm eating like borderline exploded honey. If you were in the Discord, I accidentally, I microwaved honey to make it a little softer, and then the label that I was unaware that the label was there, I was unaware that the label was foil, and yeah, so you have fun with that. But yeah, we'll get into that real quick though. Shout out to our sponsors, Project Keyboards. Project Keyboards, you can go pick up GMK Ashes that just started. Definitely an awesome set. Definitely want to get in on that. So your honey softening endeavor was foiled. Yes, it was. 10 points for Langlandia. Thank you, Willio. I was just about to type it. But yeah, Project Keyboards. You got GMK Ashes. Be sure to check that out. And mexondeck.project.link will get you there and help supporting the stream. I definitely appreciate that. Next up, Dixie Mech. You can go to mexondeck.dixiemech.com. GMK Botanical starts, I believe, tomorrow. So be sure to check that out. I'm very excited for that set. And you can also, if you buy a base kit, you get to enter to win, be a part of the Dixie Dozen, and get a 20% off coupon for a year. So pretty cool stuff. Tight Beast, be a part of his newsletter. He's got an awesome newsletter. Just the first one just went out, I believe, 2 days ago. So be sure to check him out. Zap Cables makes some of the best cables. Makes the best cables. You're gonna actually have to use this bad boy. This is one half of his cables. I promise he makes full cables. Cartoon 91, what's up, man? And so yeah, be sure to check him out. He's also got awesome desk mats. Cannon Keys, running GMK Honey, and Cat not Abyss. I'm already messing up that one. Let me look this up. But GMK Honey, solid set, very yellow, and Cat Atlantis. Sorry, it's similar, a little similar to Abyss. If only I had the internet, Chewy. I do have the internet, and I looked it up. Cat Atlantis. So be sure to check out those two sets as they are running at this moment. And then last but not least, switchmod.net/mexondeck gets you 4% off lube, springs, and all other awesome stuff. So, Cartoon 91, hello. 159. Thank you for the 1 month sub. You're almost to that. You're almost to that pink M, man. 8 months. Thank you. So, other than that, Zycos. So, for those who don't know, you can do ! Zycos, and that will tell you what it is. It's a Zelio V2 bottom, a Yak or Panda top that is specifically nylon. The new Pandas. Where's the red M? Soon. So the Panda top, the new Pandas are made of palm, so those are not going to sound the exact same. But if you can get like the Yak tops, those are made of nylon and some halo stems. And then these are actually turquoise Turquios, with 63.5 gram springs. So I am interested to see how this feels. I will talk more about turkeys. We'll talk more about I'll talk more about those and how this could be a fun build, because Zycos usually require a couple extra bottoms. In this case, I don't have that many extras, so we're gonna do our best. But I fully am aware that I will complete it to the best of my ability, but I may have to go back and order like 10 more just to replace any issues. So, but anyway, let's switch it down. So here we are. Show off these beautiful Zycos. I think they match GMK Coral really well. Come on. There we go. So yeah, real quick on Zycos. The issue, thank you, it does look crispy. I've been working on it for 2 weeks, and I've been very excited about tonight's stream because I finally get to look at this. I can punch the table, and only my face cam wobbles now. So Deskman never gets old. It doesn't. It's getting old, and it's got like bits of solder burnt into it, but I mean it looks fantastic. So the issue with Zelios, or just Gateron switches, a lot of these have them. These pins, these metal pins, they're not like molded in place, so you can actually just push your finger into them. You can't if it's a normal Zelio, because a Zelio top or a Gateron top is going to have little pieces of plastic that will cut in and kind of hold those pieces in place so you can't screw up the switch. For those wondering, yes, this does translate over to the Gateron ink issues, where those will just fall out because they're making a product that's not supposed to be taken apart, but we're in a community that likes to take things apart, so that's why they're having issues. But you have to be careful, because with tactile switches, if you push it through, you'll bend the leaf, and that leaf will not go into its original shape. It won't just go back. So anyway, let's show off. We'll show off the PCB first, because it's an old school PCB and an old school plate that's got like smudges on it. I'll clean it up here in just a minute. I love this design on the side. It's not even design, it's just there because they didn't want to make it a huge brick. But it's a fine PCB. Desoldering it was pretty easy. I knocked it out in like 20 minutes. I did have a desolder gun. So tested it earlier. I do recommend testing your PCBs. I have some older, I believe these are going to be older GMK stabs, so they're not going to have those issues. But we do have an extra one because I don't know if this was bought, built, and because this has kind of been a traveling board. But it had, I want to say it, I mean, it had a milky, I want to say it was the E7 switches, or the exclusive switches. that were basically kind of like tangerines but different, kind of like milky yellows but different. So here is the foam that it came in. How do you like lighters? How do you like the lighter switch with the Zyko? We'll find out. Brass weight. You can't go wrong with a brass weight. Look at that weight. Oof. There it is. I asked, it was funny, I asked right before the stream, I was like, hey, can I disclose who this is for? And she was like, oh yeah, of course. But I don't think I would have gotten much further than this before someone was like, that's for Olivia. So, yes, it's for Olivia. So, it's the Wolfmark W.M.1. It's got the branding subtly on the bottom. So it's got it's Alice layout, or very similar to an Alice layout, an ergonomical layout, but the differences are going to be the nav cluster is usually over here on the left, but that's over here on the right, and there's arrow keys. So we will. I have not even looked into how to get this on there, but you know what? We're just gonna find out live. That's always fun, right? Just leave it right in the shot, right there. Just keep it nice and in there. All right, so let's get to some stabs. How are we doing tonight? How's everybody? How's the music? How's the sound? Hopefully everything sounds good, looks good. Just trying to make sure my levels are all nice and dandy. So, yeah, I guess, I mean, it's just similar. It's the Ergo layout. Ergo layout with similarities to an Alice. But I mean, it's just kind of one of those things like, in my opinion, it's one of those things where, you know, even if it came before, like Oreos were not the first Oreos, but Oreos became more popular, therefore. So why do people like that layout of the board I'm building? It just feels comfortable. Makes you type normally. So whenever I type on a 60%, I kind of have my hands like this, which is why I index like a heathen, like a Neanderthal, as some might say. And so having this kind of already gets your hands more comfortable, and it's just easy to type on. So I don't believe I will need all of these, because when this had a normal backspace, and we will be doing a split backspace on this. So we need 4 sets. And I'm just gonna double check these stabs I've yet. Just one thing I meant to do of just making sure these are nice and smoothed out. Backspace on a thumb button is lit. Ergo Baka in the future, probably not. I have not tried that grind. Even though you have to reach farther with your pinky on the outer keys. I mean, I have found that while yes, well, yes, you do kind of have to reach farther on some of them. The most part, it is still pretty standard. I would say it's still just rather pretty comfortable. I have been typing on my Alice at work, not my Alice, but my OSA, my Alice layout, my open source Alice, if you will. I've been typing on that for quite some time, and I really enjoy it. Bacher 60. Bachergo. Sounds like Bakugo. Where am I, My Hero Academia, homies? So how was y'all's Tuesday? For those joining us from last night, welcome back. I hope y'all enjoyed the stream. Tried something a little different last night. Kibobo, still a great name. Chewy, would you ever design a TKL Baka or an 1800 Baka? I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I would probably go for an 1800 before I went for a TKL. But the next Baka I have thought about designing is neither of those. So. And yeah, I would probably change the name. So I don't really see the point. I mean, I get why people design TKLs, but like as someone who would run, because I'd probably run, I wouldn't run it immediately to open buy. I'd want to do a small private buy. Pocket 65, heck no. I would want to run a smaller one, and to me, there are a lot of TKLs already out there. And there's some TKLs that I'm really happy with. It's, to me, designing, if I'm going to design a board, it's going to be for something that I don't have that I want. And I've got a TKL coming in. The Austin's already a fantastic layout. And so I just don't see like a need for another 1800 board. So that's my 2 cents. There is a layout I really want to work on. It's been done before. It's not a stream unless you drop something. It's been done before, just not often. But well, I don't know if it has a number. I don't know if I want to reveal it. I don't know if I want to be secretive about it. I mean, it's all variant. What I want is a 60% with an F-row. HHKB plus win keyless. I want I would call it like a 70%. No arrow keys, so 75% with no arrow keys and no right column. That's what I want. It will be a while before I do anything like that. Forgot my brush. So I'm gonna have to go. So I usually like to, with stabs, I would say find what you like. There's not really a right or wrong. What you are trying to do is avoid rattle. I like to have them a little creamier than some people. The popular opinion is to make them feel exactly like other switches that are not stabilized. I like them a little smoother, I like to know that I'm hitting a stabilized key. So different strokes, different folks. But for this one in particular, I'm going to go a little lighter because kind of lubing to what the standard is. Personally, I will say I'm not that big of a fan that there is a standard, but just, enough to basically what you're doing is lubing it enough to where they don't rattle, they don't make noise. My big thing is, you know, with this being a lighter spring, this will need to reset. This is a big bump. I keep running my glasses into my mic. I'm not used to the new setup. My apologies. If you hear any audio drops, it's because this microphone is new and I have been... So it's a dynamic microphone, therefore you have to kind of talk like directly into it. Whereas the Yeti that I had was a lot more open, a lot more forgiving, I guess. It didn't really matter where you talked, so it picked up a lot more, which is, they each serve their purpose. But if you hear drops, my apologies. I am working on trying to kind of train myself. I know I had some issues Friday where I dropped because I kept turning around. So, but yeah, I'm worried. I'm legitimately worried about, not in the sense of like, oh, it's going to be ruined from the start, but I'm legitimately worried that I will have to redo these just because the lighter spring, the big bump, it's already having a hard time resetting. Like, it's already just got slightly more of a problem resetting. Not as a Switch normally, but I mean, it's got to do more work. It not only has to push the Switch back up, it now has to carry 2 extra stabilizers and a slightly larger key up. I do walk around. I should. That's not a bad idea. Just every time I say anything, just have like a water bottle. As long as I hear the echo, I'm good. So, let's see. Is lubing box switches a bad idea? It's not a bad idea, it's just difficult. You have to use a lot. There's a lot more going on. Kale switches alone are hard to open. I've done it. It works. You can definitely tell that they're lubed. You do have to use thicker lube. I guess the good thing about stems and click bars is, so the click bar is where you're getting that tactility. If you shave off the click bar, a lot of that tactility will go away, if not all of it. Especially like box whites are just linears with a bump for the click bar. So if you clip the bump on a box white stem, it's just a linear. I don't recommend doing that. That's not the way to make linears. But you can lube the crap out of them as long as you don't lube that stem, and even then, it will still probably be very tactile. If you're looking for something like a sherbet, those are obviously closer to an MX style stem. Lube them as normal for clicky. But box switches, you know, the other ones as well as like linears, it's just going to take a lot more. You're going to notice there's less to do. There are some people that will say, you know, they've fixed it. The bottoms used to have like a dust, what's the word I'm looking for? Exhaust. So anything that kind of like went into the switch would just fall out into the bottom. And some people said that they had lube that would, because when you lube a switch, you're essentially putting stuff in there, and then once you're working with it, lube doesn't. It takes a second for lube to settle. So it's not going to be in the exact same spot. The lube's going to move around, and some people were having issues where the lube would actually just drain out the bottom. But a lot of the new bottoms don't have that drain anymore. So they're less resistant to dust and spills, but they're also not expelling a bunch of lube. Just got some Zelios after using linear for everything, and I really love tactile, so I was thinking of getting really clicky tactile switches next, just wasn't sure if they could be lubed. I mean, go for it. My clicky switches are great. They're awesome. I personally don't use them because it's an issue with to me it's an issue with to get over, like, so I do like pale blues. I'll eventually make a pale blue build. But it is an issue with one, lubing, because they can be a little scratchy. There's a lot more contact going on. And then two, obviously noise, and three, that click bar can actually cause some. I've only ever had fatigue from a board off of box navies because they're so tactile and it's such a heavy spring that it winds up hurting after a while. Is anybody else working on some key stuff with me? Some keyboard chores, if you will. Laying in bed. I am. Dixie, what are you doing, man? What are you up to? So I'm doing now with the metal is what you're trying to prevent is metal on plastic touching. I am going, like I said, a little bit lighter than I usually go. They will still be good. They're not going to be less. I mean, they'll be a little less smooth, but they just won't be as dense. Mech Madness Stats and Botanical Prep. Dude, I'm so excited for Botanical. That's a set that the more I look at it, the more I'm like, oh my god, I have to have this. It's a clean set. It's green. It's got amazing novelties. I'm hoping. I mean, I can't imagine that they won't turn out well. Most novelties we haven't had like an issue with a novelty looking bad in a long time. Really, if ever, that I can think of off the top of my head. Quick, just responding to a quick message. Cool. So, finishing up stabs here in just a moment. was wondering, I'm using a 205 grade 0. I have found, so I was listening to someone talk about this the other day. I personally have found that 205 grade 0 so far has been my winner. Dielectric grease is awesome for the short term, and I would honestly probably still use dielectric grease on like a hot swap where I know I could have access to those stabs. But to me, dielectric grease will pick up dust easier and start to ruin the stabilizer, and I've had that happen on some. Like, and that's if you really like creamy, you know, very lubed up stabs like myself. But if you want them just smooth enough to avoid problems, I would stay away from dielectric grease. But 205 grade 0 I found does the trick, and has not had any degradation issues. I don't know, I like it on the wire, but the 205 on the housing and slider. You like dielectric grease on the housing or dielectric grease on the wire? On the wire. I mean, different strokes, different folks. Try both. Try neither. Try something else. Who knows? Like I said, it is very good. I have just found in my own personal experience that you can run into it. The other thing too, though, if you don't mind rebuilding, or once again, like I said, if you have a hot swap, dielectric grease is a lot cheaper. So there is that upside of you buy a tube and you can get a lot. Heck, you could buy a tube with a buddy or two and get a little extra, and boom. Did I put this in wrong? Nope. Just being janky panky. There it is. So, Fridays, for those who do not know, we are doing our Mech Madness live show from here through April 3rd. It's a really cool show. So, I guess a little behind the scenes stuff. I didn't do, like, anything. I came up with, I was there for all the meetings, and I came up with ideas and definitely brainstormed a bunch and thought of ways to make it fun and make it unique. And we just, honestly, we wanted to have fun with it. That's the first time we talked with Dixie about it. We were like, how can we make this just fun and something different, something the community hasn't really seen? And we kind of went for it. And Dixie's an awesome guy to work with. He has great ideas. He also did a lot of the designs, a lot of like the videos you saw. That was all Dixie. So Dixie has done so much work for this. That it's just, it blows me away. He's very talented as a graphic designer and artist. He's an amazing person. His only flaw is that he is sometimes too busy. And that's a good thing in this hobby. And that's not, and I say that, I would love to sit there and talk to him all the time, and he responds to me fairly quickly. I don't know if he sleeps. I don't think he sleeps. Also, throw him under the bus. He has a hard time keeping his headphones charged. So, Dixie, if you're listening to this, charge your headphones. Drifting Bunnies, 4-month sub. Thank you. Oh, Delphin gifted the sub. Thank you. Hello, what keyboard are you using right now? So I'm currently using my TX60 with Zelio 78 gram with a Zeal 60 PCB, and I am building. I'm currently building a Wolfmark W.M.1. And that's the one I use at home. At work, I use currently I have an OSA, which is an Alice style layout board. Excuse me. An Alice, it's just an Alice layout board because it's an open source Alice. It was an Alice with some of the outsides changed. Alright. There's that. Gonna test these stabs real quick. Cannot wait for my resub tomorrow. It'll be a fun one, man. Tomorrow we've got Tyson of GMK Ashes coming on. We're going to talk about GMK Ashes. We're going to talk about building keyboards, the goings-on of the community, and probably talk about some Mech Madness. So we have Dixie sponsors. Music seems so somber. They do need to make some hype music on this. But it's gonna be a good time. Tyson, I've met him multiple times in person at the Houston and Austin meetup. Austin meetup, which is one he ran. Met him at the Dallas. I guess I ran into him at least 3 times last year. He's a really fun guy. Mech Madness was sweet. Thank you, man. We had a lot of fun. Like, that was... What do we got? GVRBO. Thank you for the sub, dude. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. I know that you get 1 a month, and I just want to say I appreciate that you used it on ours. On our channel. So one thing I noticed whenever I was desoldering this board, so the normal backspace, let me see if I can show this off in just a second. Let me get these last screws in. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to grab one of these and show you. So this is the split backspace. All right. So if you want to use both keys, you have to put the stabilizer right, like so. And this hole where a metal screw would go literally sits on top of a of a hole. It literally sits on top of one of the pads. We're not using it, but that would cause a short. What is Mech Madness? I'm sorry, I did not say. Mech Madness, for those who don't know, it's our weekly live show where we discuss what is happening on Mech Madness 2020. He meant Stash Madness. Gotta love Stash Madness. So it's a lot of fun, and it was one of those things when we were done, we were very like amped up. And I was just like anxious, but like the good kind of anxious. The key, I'm going to take a page out of IMEURU's book. I'm going to load a lot of these into the plate first. Okay, this will be even more fun because the plate tolerances for the plate mounted stems, the 4 and 5 pins, if you will, on a 5-pin bottom switch, are just a little snug. So this will be interesting. I've said this before. If you build boards a lot and you have extra keycaps, I highly recommend just making one of these. Just caps you don't care about, or you know you're not going to use, they're spares. And we'll check that one in a minute. It's just a fun little trick. Not even a trick, it's just handy. Sound good. The return is fine. And I'm not making a pun. So I think we are operational. I'm going to put a few more, I'm going to go ahead and turn this bad boy on. Get a few more anchor switches. I highly recommend if before soldering. Just get a few switches in. It's good to help keep the plate in the place that you want it. Helps, and especially in like the corners and stuff. Okay, and we'll do one more in the middle, and we'll get some anchor switches in. Where my boy Delafin at? There it is. About to start soldering, man. Look at that. Just for you. I need to get like... I'm gonna get a label maker and just put your name right here. Just... I can do that like... I'm gonna do that tonight. Remind me to do that tonight. I'll do it on stream. I'm gonna put my lube stuff up though. I'm leaving the caps on just so I don't, whenever I yank, I've made that mistake a few times now, where I'll yank the cap off and then the switch comes with it. And like I said, so Zycos, you can damage the entire switch if you're not careful. And it's just best not to pull them in and out of the PCB all night. And like I said, I do not have a lot of leeway. I don't have a lot of weight. Not weight. I don't have a lot of headroom when it comes to spare switches tonight, so we're doing our best. Recommend one of these as well. So if you get Kester solder, which I would recommend, the Weller solder mate. It's like $10. It's just bent steel and a little rod, but look at that. You pull it out and you just roll it right back up. It's that simple. So simple, a caveman can do it. Sued by Geico. I need to like bump some more music. I'm afraid of what I just started because I hit my hotkey for something. Who knows? We'll find out randomly at a later time. We're just gonna get some new music going. There we go. Something with a little more energy. Let's see. I say energy and then I play just like chill lo-fi hip hop. Who here is going to KeyCon? Who's going to KeyCon? Give me some. Hopefully a lot of people. I want to meet a lot of new people. I am excited. I wish Langlandia. I'm excited. That honestly, top 5 people I'm excited to meet. Mr. Langenlandia. Top 5. I'm excited to meet Dixie. Excited to meet Mr. 159. KeyCon, so excited to put faces to the names of I see so often. I'm excited to meet everyone. Man, it's just gonna be a good time. If you can make it, you know, obviously traveling is expensive. We did pick up our plane tickets today. Traveling is expensive. I get that. But if you can make some room for your budget, Starstone, I'm excited. Excited to re-meet you. I met him at NorCal. I'm excited to type on your satisfaction. 75. We're throwing another Starstone. We're throwing another Zyko build out into the wild. And then I did pick up recently. Mr. Drifting Bunnies did not like his Zykos. as he is more of a linear person. And the gospel of Zyko is spreading. But these are going to be for my amazing wife, who actually used Zykos more than anybody for the first, 2 months. I made the board, and we were having problems with one of her other boards, and she was not in the mood to do clicky, to rock the clicky switches at the moment. So I threw some Zykos together whenever I first was like, oh, shoot, these are amazing. And I was like, do you like this? And she was like, I absolutely love it. And I was like, cool, use it until I build it and fix your other stuff. So up until, you can look up whenever I streamed it, from the Instagram post I made the day after to whenever I streamed it, that's how long. You could actually track how long she used it. Alright, so this is going to be a slightly difficult part because this is the part I have been dreading. By the way, these boxes, I guess, are for personal bread loaves. I think, is that correct? Personal bread loaves for these. Yeah. So they're for baking, and I commandeered them against my wife's wishes because I was like, "Oh, these are perfect," and she was like, "Hey, don't do that again." And I was like, absolutely. Not to say she's mean. I straight up stole something from her. Personal bread loaves. Yeah, so you just make like banana bread, not sour. I'm sure you could do sourdough, but banana bread. What? She's still mad. Absolutely. So if you can find something like these, 1, let me know so I can buy some more for my wife, and 2, use them for switches. They're great. I am digging the fact that this plate, so I believe this is a stainless steel plate, just based off the sound and stiffness. But the plate, it's the first time in a hot minute that I've used a plate. I guess the TX60 build was fine, but a lot of plates I've been building recently have been a little snug. And this is pretty open. It's got switch top removal as well, and that can be great for Zykos because if Olivia decides she wants to go a little heavier on the springs, I know she is not someone who likes heavy springs all that much, but she could go through the painstaking task of switch top removal on a board without damaging the Zykos. Taco types, welcome. It's Taco Tuesday, my dude. I sort of had a taco tonight. Does that count? There is one, I need to re-find it. There's one there. Is that my tab? That I'm gonna have to heat up because in the desoldering, I guess it got just enough to get the switch out, but it did not clear out 100%. So while I'm doing this, feel free. See some questions. Get some questions. Don't be afraid to ask whatever you want. The only thing I will not give away is stuff that can help someone find me, I guess. Ask away. Keyboards, work, life. because I am just making sure that all these switches. So what happens a lot of times is the PCB and the holes in the PCB for PCB mounted switches are not perfect. It's hard to get those tolerances perfect. So what you run into is it can be a little snug getting in there. And you just have to make sure they're all the way down so it's even across the board. Shout out to my wife though, by the way, because she helped me put these Zycos together. GOM, hello Mr. Chewy. Hello Mr. GOM. I haven't talked to you in a while, man. How's it been? Been ghosting me. It's been pretty good. How are you? I'm good, man. I saw you pop in at the very beginning of the stream. Doing all right. Like a week and a half ago, I kicked on accident. I tripped and kicked a vacuum cleaner. I had a bruise on the bottom of my foot for like a week and a half, and that's finally gone. Next week, so I work at an elementary school, and next week is said elementary school's spring break. I just fractured my toe a little bit. Yeah, dude. I know that feeling, man. There was one time, I don't know if Osiris is in the chat. For those who don't know, who are just joining us, or first time, Mech's on Deck is it's a two-way street. Myself and Osiris. We do a weekly talk show and a weekly guest show with a guest from the community. So I was going to talk about, I know you remember this because this is at the apartment whenever we used to live like super close but not together, and then not like after that but before the house. When I was walking into the living room, for whatever reason, the closet, like where the kitchen counter came out to, there was just a slight like 1.5 inch indent from the wall to where the kitchen is from the hallway. And I kicked that part of the wall with my pinky toe so bad that it bit my pinky toe. And I think that's probably top 5 things I've been in most pain in my entire life. And I just walked in and like face planted on the ground. Was stubbing my pinky toe. Osiris, I don't know if you remember that, but I remember that like it was yesterday. Doyroy, if I'm saying that correctly, let me know. Welcome. You said it correctly. Man, that's a first. Mark this down as like the one time I said someone's name correctly on stream. I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been a slow process. I've been having a good time going back and watching my old build streams. It's been a fun process of watching how the build streams have evolved from like over the shoulder shots to like on a desk but kind of to the side to the overhead to now this overhead where I can kind of, you know, you can see the table's not moving, my face is moving. I haven't gotten that off the desk. I don't know if I will because I don't slam the desk that much and it's not as noticeable. And I also, like, especially like for an interview stream, it might be more, but I'm not sitting there slamming on the desk. And it's not as noticeable right here. But it's been a lot of fun getting to do all these upgrades. Osiris is like an OBS wizard, so we've been... he figures out all this stuff, the cool stuff to do. I have transitions now, like he's had them, but like we've had these for a while. I just haven't. This should work, but it's not, because why would it? We're live. There it is. So we've had that one for a while. I just finally have it because I had to like go through and do it, but we're back. Clean transition. Thank you. Zap, man. How's it going? How's it going? Look. Whew. You made this for me a long time ago, and I think I've used it twice. It's the first time on stream for that bad boy. And I try to leave subtle hints of stuff scattered for the realist homies that help us out. Try not to be super obvious. This one's a little more obvious, let's be real, but like you might not have known. This is a really cool like coaster. I've had this forever. It does. It's very similar to that. I will still say, so I'm someone who does not like long intros. Looking at you, Game of Thrones. Like, I get it. It's telling a story and it's music and I get all that. But if I'm binge watching a show, I don't need to watch 45-minute long intros. Well, don't do that one. That's the one I need to fix. And that's a good one because it keeps it short, simple, memorable, I guess I should say. It's like the fourth time I've hit my glasses on the mic. Like the best, Breaking Bad had a great one. The best intro, in my opinion, ever, fight me, is Glee. I watched the first 2 seasons of Glee religiously and then very quickly stopped. And it literally is just like Glee and then it's over. I was like, hell yeah, I'm about this. Don't tell me it's a like you see animes, they're like it's a 22-minute show and there's a 2-minute intro and a 2-minute outro. So it's like, cool, you've now effectively cut 4 minutes of the show out because 900 people worked on the show, and that's totally fine. Those people worked hard. They produce good content when it comes to TV shows. But that means that there's only like 18 minutes of actual TV show. I will say I haven't started watching it yet, but Star Wars Rebels had a really good one. too, because it kind of changed. Any like intro that changes, I appreciate that a lot too. It makes it just a little more interesting to watch. Wow, I have literally the exact amount of Zycos. I have one spare that I'd have to make. So let's see. Another Zyko build. These Mechs on Deck boys are at it again. Sliding in tipsy. There you go. Get you some. Man, we're going to be we got lots of Zyko builds coming. Osiris still has to make his. I've got at least one more, potentially two more. Well, probably just one more. One more that I know of. Gospel of Zyko. I'd still need to build Willio as Zyko board. So, how I lube these, and this is what I recommend. Now you can kind of get a little crazier with heavier springs, but I lubed them just the housing with 3203. They're still very smooth. They don't lose like any tactility, but with that lighter spring. And I did lube the spring with just the chewy box of the chewy tub of lube. That sounds bad. The tub of lube that I use to tub lube springs. That's just like an ever-changing, ever-growing amount of greases and oils and lube and all that stuff that I just swirl around until I like how it feels. So. Looks like we are all right in the clear there. Saw our job on point. Well, I've actually done a pretty terrible job soldering at the moment, but let's see how we do. So where did I put my solder? It's just gone forever. Forgot an important part of my deck. How many more times can you say the word lube in a sentence? I can say it a lot, honestly. So that's what she said. Alright. Gonna try not to mess my audio. So I got this little fan. You can't really see it. My wife got it for me for my birthday. It's fantastic. It just blows the solder that way. I need to fix it to where it's snagged on something and I don't want to like unplug everything. Cam froze. Yep, probably because I was messing with it. Look at that. Professional streamers. Let's get to some soldering before I screw other things up. How much lube can lube if lube could lube? A lot of lube. Ooh, just got some flux on my thumb. That didn't feel good. I'm gonna move this down some. Get right up in the up. The fan's just blowing right at that. I love it. On the fly. I just want to be able to talk. Get up nice and close, be able to say things and people hear me. So how we doing? Top 3 TV show ever? That's a good one. I'd say The Office and Parks and Rec, and then the third one is very tough. Can I start after The Office and Parks and Rec? If not, I would have to say either Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Bob's Burgers. Okay, so Bob's Burgers, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Dragon Ball Z. Not necessarily in that order. A lot of it's what I'm feeling. A lot of it just has to do with what I'm feeling that day. Brooklyn Nine-Nine's always a great one. Bob's Burgers is a fantastic show. Any love for It's Always Sunny? I do really like It's Always Sunny. I think it's hilarious. I've definitely watched it a few times over. I just think like that's one of those shows that I feel like they just cast 5 Michael Scotts and put them in a room. Not that that's a bad thing, but sometimes you're just like, oh my god. Like, I know the whole point of that show is like, look at these idiots screw up everyone's lives. Which is why it's funny, but I do like the sentimental moments. Is it possible to choose one single show as best? The best I can do is rank in genre. Yeah, it's because it's tough. Like, I think it's, to me, it's what has the most rewatchability, and I think that's where Parks and Rec and The Office kind of basically do a flat-out tie. But Brooklyn Nine-Nine's coming in hot. That show is fantastic. It's made, I mean, all 3 of those shows are made by the same people. But Archer's a good one. I never really got into Venture Bros, and Seinfeld, I just haven't given it the honest shot. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, one of the best movies I've ever seen is a movie called Remember Me. And the whole, if you haven't seen it, go see it. But there's a huge twist in the end. And after knowing that, like, there's no point in like, it's so hard to watch the movie again. If you had asked me this like 6 years ago, I'd probably say The Office, Futurama. I was really into Futurama, and I did really like Archer. I guess, not that I fell out of love with Futurama, I just think Bob's Burgers, in my opinion, just has better characters. I mean, I've got like, I literally have like all the way, you can't see, but like half of one of these 3. So I have a little shelf, you can see behind me, I have a little shelf, I have 3 of those above me, like right up here, and like half of one of them is just Bob's Burgers, and the other half is Dragon Ball Z. So it's tough. And Dragon Ball Z is one of those shows that's like, I still love it, I still watch it, but it was hands down my favorite show growing up. Let's see what's in here. Taco Types, thank you for the follow. I guess about the shelves. That's what the idea. I like the shelves. The shelves, so they're shelves from IKEA that are made to hold like picture frames and books, which I do find it very strange that like, I think it's literally called like a picture frame shelf. And I'm like, isn't the whole point of putting something in a picture frame so you can hang it on the wall like independently? But I guess they were like, well, if you don't have a hanger, then you can buy this shelf. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna buy it for Funko Pops. And they're fantastic. Batman animated series, solid one. I like Dexter's Lab a lot. That like just turned 25 the other day. Dexter's Lab and Johnny Bravo were my jam. I loved How I Met Your Mother, but I tried rewatching it, but stop after 4 episodes. I could not get over it. Which bitch Ted is. I love it. Yeah, Ted's tough to watch. That was that and That 70s Show were the 2 shows that I watched the most in high school. But when I was in college, someone was like, I can't get over laugh tracks. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, just listen one time how many laugh tracks there are. And so we sat there and watched, and he was like, I'm going to exaggeratedly laugh every time someone laughs. And he did, and I was like, oh my god. And it just like ruined laugh track shows for me. Why the fuck is Twitch swapping a light theme? Man, I'm sorry. It's like Discord light theme. Only show that works with laughs. See, and that's like, I feel like older shows can get a bit of a pass. Like they have some wiggle room in there because they're a little bit older, so you're there for the content, really. You're there for the content of the show. You know, you're not like looking to see them break all these new, you know, I've heard it I've heard it in a way where it described as like a lot of people watch old shows and be like, oh, this plot again. I'm like, no, this show is the reason that plot is so overused. And my brother watched Seinfeld and he told me that, and he was like, so you just have to remind yourself that like when they did X type of episode, they were the first ones to do that type of episode, and it was so well loved that everybody went with it. Now, I will say the best episode of television ever. The funniest episode on TV of any show that I've ever watched, ever. On a, let's say, non-HBO, because I do have to change this. But the dinner party episode of The Office is the funniest episode of any TV show I've ever watched in my entire life. The best for entertainment purposes an episode is, like when it comes to like not just trying to laugh a bunch, is Game of Thrones Battle of the Bastards. Because it's basically a movie. And you don't have to know like anything what's going on. You can describe it as that dude murdered that dude's family and then stole his castle, and that guy's trying to get it back. And that's all you need to know. And everything else is just amazing. Silence of the Lamb, but in The Office is top 3. Oh, that's God, what's that called? Oh, what's the name of that? Of those two? There's two. It's a two-part episode. Oh man, it's not. It's like I keep in my head. I'm saying Safety Protocol, but I know it's not that. Stress relief, thank you. Cobert, welcome. I haven't seen your name. Welcome. But no, Battle of the Bastards is fantastic. I think it's one of the best episodes in that entire show. Just expertly shot, expertly written. And that's one of those that's one of those movies that, or shows that a lot of it obviously pays off from the fact that you've seen it a bunch. So like my top 3 favorite movies, one of them is Avengers Endgame. And it's like, well, it's already an amazing movie. I have 22 other movies that led up to me liking that movie. My favorite movie of all time, let's see if someone can guess it. I've said it before, I think. It's not an action movie. I'm curious to know if Willio knows it. My number 3 favorite movie is Miracle, the 2004 film about the 1980 hockey team. I don't know why. That movie gets me pumped up about America. Kurt Russell does an amazing job. Remember the Titans now. DJ Rise, welcome. Ridwalk, welcome as well. Thank you for the follows, guys. So my favorite movie of all time stars Paul Rudd and Jason Segel, which is I Love You Man. It is the greatest bromantic comedy ever written. Paul Rudd is one of my favorite actors. Slap the bass. Yep, you get it. I don't have that queued up right now. I'm changing a lot of our audio for secret reasons that some of you know about. But we're breaking that out on Friday. So be hyped for some fun audio stuff happening on Friday. Paul Rudd was my first celeb crush in Clueless. I don't know if I've seen Clueless, but he's just amazing. I think he's so good in everything. Him and Knocked Up is so funny. He was like, There's 5 different chairs in this room. Someone's job is to go around looking for chairs just to put in this room. He's like, this one's too tall. I don't like it. I'm too high up. We may be done, but I usually miss one. Yep, I already missed one. That's why we check, boys and girls. I don't know if Olivia's still here. I Love You, Sarah Marshall. That's another good one. Paul Rudd, mirror scene in Wanderlust is one of the best ad-lib performances ever. Yeah, it's a fantastic one. Yeah, I'm gonna name you. Yeah, man, I don't really need a watch. Oh, that's so cool. You just kind of go, no, I've got a watch like on my phone now, so it doesn't matter. What did I say? If I meant forgetting Sarah Marshall. An underrated movie is Role Models. That one's fantastic. Alright, let's plug this bad boy in, see how we did. So, as I said, I am not expecting 100% accuracy because I am out of switches. I have one spare, so I'm not expecting perfection from this. I will go back and fix it, but just wanted to get this build out there and going. So we're going to check it out. Hold on real quick. Goon would also like a word. Oh, he's not in Goon. I mean, both, what's his face from Goon, Sean William Scott, is also in, whatever it's called. I'm going blank. I just thought Role Models. Slapshot's still the best hockey movie ever made. It's a solid one. I just like Slapshot. See, I don't like Miracle's not a hockey movie. Miracle is like not documentary is not the right word, but just I guess I mean it's kind of a documentary. Walking Tall is a fantastic movie. That's like, because that's the one. Is that The Rock? Or I guess yeah. Because The Rock did he did one with Johnny Knoxville and one with Sean William Scott, and they're like the exact same movie. I don't remember which one. Which one's the one where he's in court because he got like carved up, and he's like, "Is this enough evidence for you?" And they're like, "Oh my god!" And then he like walks around. I think Walking Tall's the one where he walks around with a freaking 2x4 and just starts beating people with it. There we go. The Rundown. There's the other one. Or the Rundown's with Sean William Scott. What? They're the same movie. It's like The Rock has been wronged. He's got usually a guy that plays the stupid idiot in a dumb movie, and he's now just playing the stupid idiot in a serious movie. Hold on. Already having problems with the 7. Alright. Let's see if that has anything to do with... Oh, that's not great. We'll figure that out. I'm gonna check out 7 real quick. But like I said, I think I am probably going to have to go in and look at this board a little bit more after. Because Zycos, you know, once you build them, don't expect it to be done. You will kind of have to look at what's happening and kind of test each switch as you go. And if you start noticing like, oh, this one doesn't reset 100%, or oh, this one doesn't do what it's supposed to do, just look out for that. So, you know, don't expect it to be a 100% complete build. I am going to spend a couple days with this board just to make sure that when I ship it off to Miss Olivia, it works out of the box. While I'm 100% certain that she could fix all those problems as well, why not send a good product out? Because sometimes you don't even notice it on the first day. Okay, so in the bag, we have these little rubber O-rings. So we're going to figure out how to get those secured in there. Is this for Olivia? Yes, this is for Olivia. She was in chat earlier. I do not know if she is still in chat. Actually, you know what? We're going to turn off the soldering iron. I'm going to change it up real quick. Make it look pretty. It's about to get bright. This is one of my favorite mats. What I picked to win the Mech Madness desk mat bracket. So this did not come with bump-ons, at least that I saw. It's not like they're hard to obtain. So I assume these are supposed to be for the bump-ons, although I haven't really seen the indents laid out as such. We'll find out. Top mount. You'd think like the cutout here looks like it would have a weight. Obviously it does not. But we'll get this. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 7, 8. These top mount positions are actually quite strange. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 standard across the top. 1, 2, 3, and then this one's on the side. So that's just, I haven't seen that before, where it's kind of uneven. I mean, this is an uneven board. Let's be real here, but... Javon, welcome. Everything's good, man. Streaming on my new setup. Very excited about it. Very comfortable. It's a lot of room. I moved my mic, so my mic from the... I did like one stream last week with the mic on coming from this way, and then the mic's coming from that way, even though it gets flipped in Discord. So, I think those are where the bottom screws into the top, not the plate. Plates are the lower ones. Well, I haven't even put it... Yep, you're right. So, 1, 2, 2, 3. And how does... Okay, I will have to get that brass piece in. So. This is very interesting. We're just gonna learn as we go. So let's get the weight in. So, stash, there is a weight. It's right here, bud. Oh, my apologies, Mr. Axot. Look at that weight, stash. Boom. I don't believe this is the right one. So I'll show off the front. Nice inlaid brass weight. When's the group buy for this? This is an old board. Screws. All right. This is such an interesting build. Some tweezers out. What was this keyboard, a group buy, private buy? I actually don't remember. I feel like I've seen it, and you can find pictures pretty easily if you just look it up. And typically with private buys, you won't see pictures like this. Now, it's not to say that I don't know if the rose gold was an available option, or if this is something that she had done. So, who knows? I will say, while this layout I'm sure will be nice, it is not exactly my jam because I don't care about arrow keys. So it's just kind of needlessly long, but preference. Can we still get a Baka 60 or whatever? Soon, man. So, full disclosure, I do have the PCB I plan on using is currently in production. China, the whole coronavirus outbreak, that slowed things down. And I'm not like in a huge rush to get it. I want to get it out to people because I've had many people ask me about it, and I love that they've been asking me about it, but I have to make sure this PCB works before I do anything. And I can't do anything because everything got delayed by like a month, so. Got a lot of different screws here. But yeah, I'm aiming, once this board goes into, once I get the PCB in and I've cleared it, I'm going to start working on the interest check, and then I plan on doing I plan on doing like basically announce when the group buy is going to be, and I plan on having that be at least at minimum 1 month out, because I don't really like when people are like, here's my board, I'm releasing it in 4 days. I want people to, I mean, boards are expensive, and I'm not going to release any numbers right now, but what I will say is that everything in this hobby has a price tag on it, and I would rather, if someone really wants one, I want them to have a chance to save for it and not miss out. But what I will say is that I am very excited to bring that board into group buy. And if you want to join our Discord for updates, I will be updating it there as well. And feel free to ask me, I never mind answering questions. I get a few people that will start every question by, I'm sorry, I'm really, really sorry to bother you. And I'm like, please, you're not bothering me. If you're bothering me, I might just not respond yet. But I will respond to you. It just might take me some time. I do think it is funny. Sometimes I'll get people PMing me during a stream, and I'll sometimes answer to them. You know, I can, if Osiris is talking about something or a guest is talking about something, I can usually listen and try and respond every now and then. But it is funny. I do get a lot of messages like while I'm streaming, and I'm like, I'm trying, bud. I'm sorry. That's not to say that you can't. Just don't expect an answer immediately. Man, Chewy, I still got to get round 2 space bars. The R2 is convex instead of concave like the round 1 space bars. Are you talking about for... Oh, the round 2 is convex. Oh, or the, feels like a blank shift. I use them for like a day. So, I feel you. And that was like the first time ever, so. Tweezers, people. Use them. I might pick up extra space bars, just because... Who knows? I do have some fun plans for my boards coming up. A couple keycap sets. I'll try and finish a board and be happy with it, but I've got a couple change-ups that are happening soon. There are not enough screws. I will have to talk to Olivia about that. This will work, but there are not enough screws for now. not do this one. Yeah, the color of this board is fantastic. I was going to get GMK Olivia to show off on this stream, but honestly, one, I'm a little more excited to show off the set that I do have, and two, hot take, I don't think rose gold boards look that good with Olivia, because you're matching a plastic to a metallic. Sorry, Miss Olivia, for the hot take. Mr. Tyler Durdens, welcome, guys. Check out CYO caps. He's got the new ambassadors coming up. Stainless steel plate, Zycos, looks very nice. Excited to get. It really does match the aesthetic. It's sad that you can't see the cool blue bottoms on these, but we've got some fun stuff. So I got this in. Oh, there goes my camera right as I'm showing it off. Look at that. Look how precise I'm holding that. There we are. Showed this off the other day. Excited to get these in. That's what I need. I don't need that. I do need this. Go ahead and pop them in. So, hold on. My apologies. Did you get any cat sets? I don't know. I know that I haven't gotten any yet. I need to type on it again, because when I tried it at NorCal, I was not a fan. Immediately, my first take was, I don't really like this. I need to spend more time with it, because sometimes walking up to a board, typing on it once, and making a decision right then and there is tough. So I may just need to like borrow it from someone. I'll get that other one. Another cap. Am I missing anything? Enter. Yep, we're good. Sorry for the audio. 10 strong, man. I haven't seen you all stream. What's up, dude? This is better than the Alice way of doing it. Like the layout? If you like arrow keys, I totally can understand why you would say that. We're putting supers on here because I love super keys. Getting all the supers. Super. Hell yeah, dude. Super keys are probably one of my favorite keys. I know that's like a weird thing to say and such like a keyboard like dweeb thing to say. But I absolutely have favorite keys. I do not have a second B though, so I will have to figure something out for that. Might just have to get super. Excuse me. Yeah, if you haven't, check out our Discord. We have a lot of fun times in there. It's a party. We've got some cool stuff coming, so be sure to stay tuned to the Discord. Join the conversations. Shout out to my boy Cypher. I don't know if you're in here. I've had a lot of good talks with Cypher recently in our Discord. This is like the Alice way of doing it. Is this board Q and K? I believe so. If it is not, it is going to someone who knows how to code. So I know that the PCB side of things, when it comes to coding, I know she will be fine. Could Olivia configure it to work with VIA Pro? I mean, I imagine. I guess the one thing about this is you know where your escape key goes. Because, like, there is some discussion about where the escape key goes, because when this is over here, people will put the escape on that top left so Tilda can go there for backspace. But I put the escape key over the tab like I do on every other build I have, because I try and keep it. That's why I have the Austin and split backspace, because I try and keep everything as uniform across the board as possible. I don't like having to change all that much when I switch from one board to the other. Don't know why Olivia would be the one. I mean, I'm just saying that she could. And sometimes the PCB maker, maybe they don't want to. Who knows? Maybe there's beef that we don't know about. I don't know who would have beef with Olivia, but who knows? Plus, sometimes like I don't want to bother like a PCB maker for like a one-off problem. Not to say that I'm sure there are people out there that make PCBs that would be more than happy to help you. But I would just feel bad sometimes if I'm just like, oh, I have to bother this one guy who made a PCB and now 600 people have that, and I'm like, hey, I need you to help me personally. I don't believe these have arrows. Now we just need Okie dokie. So do we do blue? Do we do pink for Mr. Sleeves? Here, let me see real quick. Let's make it a little brighter. Blue. Blue. I was thinking blue as well. I was leaning towards that as well. Definitely blue. That's what I figured. I mean, and this is what I mean by when you get pink on. And you get like a row when it's, but this is, now this is not Olivia pink. This is Mr. Sleeves. But when you get plastic on metallic, it's just different. So.
Build looks so crispy. 10 out of 10.
Thank you very much. I'm not used to hearing that stuff. We always stream from Osiris's computer, so I never hear it. But thank you for the 100 bits. Definitely appreciate it. Oof, that looks good. Here, let me get me out of the way. That looks, this is clean. I do genuinely like this. Obviously another B would look great. I messed with my camera, so naturally it's gonna freeze on me, but you know what? It froze at the perfect time. Like, it's frozen, but it froze at such a perfect time. I don't have the numpad key because this is a kit that did not have. Now it's nice and zoomed in, which might mess it up more. There we go. So let me clean it up, do a quick typing sound. While I'm cleaning up, quick shout out to our sponsors. We got a Project Keyboards. He's got GMK Ashes going right now. Dixie Mech is going to be running GMK Botanical starting tomorrow, I believe. So be sure to check that out. As well as keep an eye on Mech Madness. That will be going on. Follow his Instagram. So, and then Zap Cables. He makes the best cables, hands down. Canon Keys running GMK Honey and Cat Atlantis. If you're wanting to try out Cat, that's a great set for the people that like blue. We've got switchmod.net/Mechs on deck. We'll get you 4% off your order for lube. By the way, GMK, make more stuff in this. Wish I didn't have to sign up to do Mech Madness. I mean, it was easy to fill out the brackets and stuff. And who knows? You never know if you win. Anyway, let me... So, Tight Beast, be sure to check out his weekly newsletter. He's doing awesome stuff. As well as, did I get everybody? Ping out everybody. So there you go. Our awesome sponsors who continue to sponsor this awesome channel. Ooh, I can already tell this sounds amazing. Alright, where's Grindbox? Chewy, I'm going to die if I travel to Chicago tomorrow from coronavirus. I don't know, just wash your hands, people. Typing test incoming, yes. I am going to message a buddy of mine real quick. Mr. Grindbox, because he asked me. We've been talking about Zycos. It looks very pretty. I think that this board, especially with this brass weight, looks fantastic. I'm gonna soften the light some, because now I look like I'm very pale, so it's gonna be a little darker. But traveling from coronavirus to Chicago, I didn't know coronavirus was a place. Jesus, man, this board looks insane. I mean, if you like your arrow keys and you want to try an ergo, this would be a great board. But this board has not run in some time. So let me, sorry, I'm just waiting. I mean, I can always send him the clip as well. I just wanted to let him know. Excited. I've heard it for like 2 seconds. I'm gonna mute myself real quick. Okay, I'm going to do a quick typing test. This is pretty close. It's going to sound pretty thocky. I'm going to do probably like 30 seconds of typing, and then I'm going to move the mic back some and do 30 more seconds. After I move hair away from it. And now I'm going to move the mic back really quick. I'm going to mute it just so you don't have to hear rumbling, just so it's a little bit more like spatial sound. Okay, so we're back. That sounds awesome. I'm very excited about this. So yeah, one more time. The Wolfmark W.M.1 with Zycos, which are kind of a weird misnomer because the bottom is not a Telio or a Zelio, it's a Telio, but a Telio, turquoise Telio bottom, a Holy Panda from Mass Drop, the redesigned ones, the nylon tops. Halo True Stem with 63.5 gram springs. Here in the Wolfmark W.M.1. Tactility, it's not as intense of a bump, but I think it's really good. It's very round. I think it's a little light for my taste, but it returns. And that's something to say, at least, that it does return which maybe with these turquoise Telios, the bump being slightly, the bump that's just slightly less might be better, because then there's not as much of a return. They sound great, so. What did I miss? Something in Minnesota. You should get some Portillos when you're in Minnesota, or when you're in Chicago. Nice. But yeah, thank you. So tomorrow, let's switch over. So tomorrow we're going to be interviewing Mr. Tyson. Not even interviewing, but just hanging out. We're bringing Mr. Tyson on stream. So we're going to be talking about GMK Ashes, as well as Mech Madness, and just being in the community. He's been doing lots of fun build streams, so it's been and we've just known him for a while, so thank you. And be sure to tune into that Friday. Both of these are at 8 p.m. Central. Friday, tune in to Mech Madness Live, the Mech Madness Live show, where we will be going over this week's results and the bracket breakers that we have seen. So, who is live? Captain Ladies Man. That's an awesome name. Thank you for following. Kind of did that on purpose. Search the Wolfmark W.M.1. From what I'm reading on Mech Market, the W.M.1 has a Chinese group buy. Never ran in the West. Could be false info. As I just read this, I don't know much about it. All I know is I was talking when I was in NorCal. I was speaking with Olivia, and I was like, "Hey, do you want us to build something of yours? Do you have anything?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'll send you something fun." And a few weeks ago, we were talking about switches, and I was like, "You should try Zycos." And she tried them at the meetup, and she was like, "Ooh, that's not a bad idea," and shipped them over. And the rest is this stream. So, who is live right now? Is Mech Merlin live? Usually Tuesday nights he's live. Mr. Mech Merlin is live. So we'll be rating Mr. Merlin. I'm so late. Cypher, I even gave you the shout out in the stream, man. Kidding, totally. What are Zycos? Zycos are typically, these are slightly different, but Zycos are a Zelio V2 bottom, a Yak top or a Panda top, specifically a nylon Panda top, and a Halo stem, and it creates a very intense bump that's very close to an Alps Brown. So more tactile than a Holy Panda, more tactile than a Zelio, maybe different tactile, just very large and round, kind of like myself. And it sounds fantastic. So, but yeah, thank you guys for checking it out. You can check me tomorrow. We're going to raid Mr. Merlin. What should we say? We should say something fun. Try Zycos. That's what we're going to do again. I can't type on this board. Throw that in the chat whenever we raid them. So thank you. Buy a Switch tester. Let's go hit up Mr. Merlin. Just dancing. You know how I be.